All right, guys, so we made it out to the garden bed a little bit later in the day than I anticipated, but here we are. It is still about 55 degrees out, so we're still doing good on temperature. And we have to work on cleaning out the garden beds. So I'm going to start with my zucchini and squash bed and work my way on from there. Look at this guy hiding. All right, so for me, I don't do anything special with my beds in the wintertime. I mainly just pull out the plants and just make sure that there's nothing left in there that could leave disease for next year. Here was my dill trial. They didn't work. And my squash. Oh, wow, I didn't realize there was that much root system to a squash plant. I also didn't realize that the vines slid into the ground too. What I do with my dead plants every year is I put them into our burning pit and we burn them and then put the ash back into the garden bed. All right, everybody, so this bed is done. So I will move on to the asparagus bed next. I literally just took all the plants off, shook off the roots, and I will leave everything else as is until spring. All right, so for the asparagus, you want to make sure that it's starting to turn this yellow color. And what I do is I just take my garden shears and snip them all off at the bottom. This year we're going to top the bed off, which is something I didn't do last year, but I am going to do that this year. And then I also pick out any weeds. I just snip it and lay it here. Oh my gosh, I have to show you guys this. Let me get some of these weeds and then I'll bring you over here. All right, so this right here is a brand new asparagus growth. And there's some here too. I'm not sure if the weird warm up that we had this fall made the asparagus think that it was springtime. But there's some new growth here. That's odd. All right, I'm going to clip these out. And then get some of this grass out of here. All right, now I'm going to top this bed off this year. So I'm going to go grab that dirt that we bought from Lowe's. All right, so I got the 2 bags of compost. This one looks like it has a hole in it. Good thing it didn't explode in the car. And I'm just going to put it right on top. This bed hasn't really been fertilized or anything since we planted it, so it's time for it to get something in it. My husband did bury a fish. I'm just going to take this compost and I'm going to cover the entire bed in it. I'm debating if I'm going to put both on this bed or not. I don't want to suffocate the asparagus next spring. I want to make sure they can still come through the ground. I think I'm just going to do one. And then what I do for my asparagus is I take the tops and I lay them right on top of the bed. And then in the spring I pull them off. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but it's how I do it. All right, the next bed we have is this bed with the tomatoes and carrots. Originally, I was just going to leave the carrots for today because I don't think I'm going to get them processed today. And I think it would just be smarter to pull everything out and put in the midnight oils and get it done tonight because it's going to be so much easier to get that stuff out when this isn't in the way. And I was going to try to make pesto with my carrot tops, but I noticed that there's a ton of dog hair from when we groomed the dogs. So I'm just going to take the carrots out and leave the tops to compost here for next year. Now remember, I did not thin my carrots, so some are going to be big, some are going to be small. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at this carrot. You guys see it? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the tops off right here and leave them. Ooh, these are strong, strong smelling carrots. So this is my first year planting this variety of carrots. Last year we planted the multicolored carrots. Excuse me. Come on, girls! So this guy's obviously a little smaller. This year we planted Bolero carrots. This carrot didn't amount to anything. And that's the negative to not thinning them. Some are big, some are small. But I'm okay with that. Please stop barking, okay? Look at what mom's got. Carrots! Yeah. Can you go by your sister? Alright, I put the dogs in the house because neighbor dogs bark. The neighbors don't seem to try to stop their dogs from barking. but I don't like mine to bark. So last year I never thinned my carrots either, and none of them grew like this. I didn't have any forks, any nothing. I had all straight carrots, just some were tiny and some were big. This year I've noticed this brand of carrots, they seem oh, but then we're pulling them. This one's got a hole in them. Let me show you. See that? Oh boy. All right, I'm going to take these in and then come back and keep working. This carrot split right down the center. All right, now to clean this bed, I'm just going to take everything and put it in the burn pit. I think I've decided I'm also taking the carrot tops because they're not going to dry out. They're just going to mold. Right, for this bed, I'm just going to turn up the dirt a little bit, mainly to get rid of the trench where the carrots were. All right, so we got everything out of this bed. We have a few tomatoes that got left behind. I'm just going to let them decompose there to give the ground some nutrients. We're going to leave all the dead leaves in place. We took out all of the green carrot tops because I'm afraid they're going to mold instead of decompose because it's already to the wet season of fall. So we're going to leave this as is for the winter. And we're going to move on to the next thing, which is the rhubarb patch. All right, so some people mow off their rhubarb, but since ours is kind of in between the garden beds, I just wait till fall. These are all soggy and not usable. And I just pull them all off. Somehow we got a Cheeto bag in here. I just pull them all off like that. And they will also go onto my pile. All right, we've made it to the next bed, and we are going to start getting these carrots out again. Oh gosh, this one's split in half. Holy spiders. There's so many of them. Maybe they made a nest in my carrots. I don't know. But there's a ton of spiders. Okay, you guys see this spider? He's right there. Right there. That is what these big spiders, they're all over in my garden bed. And I got like a ladybug there. All right, guys, so I just got a notification that there is going to be rain starting at our house within 15 minutes. And I was trying to get my carrots done up and then bring you guys out here to finish getting the garden beds put to bed. But I am hustling out here to get some of this stuff done before the rain. So I just got my little tripod and we'll get the best footage we can. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow you guys down because we are in a wind advisory on top of the storm coming in. But the biggest thing I wanted to do first was get these Brussels sprouts out of here. I forgot I had the tomato cages on these. So let's just start cutting the leaves. Some people eat these leaves. You can certainly eat them just like a cabbage. We've never actually tried them. Molly, no bark. No, no thank you. We got all the leaves off. Now to harvest the Brussels sprouts. All right, everybody. So today is probably the last warm day we are going to get this year. It is November 14th and it is almost 60 degrees, which is phenomenal for us in northern Minnesota. My husband and I have plans to finish our outside work, which typically we're doing in the cold. So we're going to finish our outside work. The big thing I'm bringing you guys along for is to finish the front garden bed that we haven't finished yet. And then on top of that, we're just going to do some mowing and some organizing of the garage. But I'm going to bring you guys along for the finish cleaning the garden bed and then potentially bring you to clean the garage. All right, so this is the last garden bed that we have to take care of before the snow. Basically, I go through, I cut everything down, and I throw it out. So I'm just going to start working on that until my husband gets home. I was going to try to mow, but the mower won't start. So we're going to clean the garden bed. I don't actually know what to do with this plant because it's the first year I've had it. Alright, so these are the only plants that I am not going to dig up. These are my chicks and hens, and I believe they stay there all winter. This is my first time growing them as well. So we're just going to leave them be. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. We were able to get all the garden beds cleaned out and taken care of before the snow came. Unfortunately, I did not get to film the end of it because we did run into some bad weather, so we had to rush to get it all done. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, and follow along for more videos. Until I post again, I will post some videos here for you to watch. And until next time, I hope you have a good day.